I love a new beginning. I get so excited just thinking about all the possibilities and opportunities that are coming my way next. But anytime I'm at the beginning of a new chapter in my life, there's a part of me that feels pretty terrified. The uncertainty, the fear, the evaporating self-confidence, the feeling that I'm miles behind everyone else in the game of life, that little voice that whispers into my ear, "It's too late." If you're currently staring at a blank page at the beginning of a new life chapter, whether by choice or as a result of being blindsided by something like job loss or relationship loss, and no matter what you've accomplished or haven't accomplished up until this point, you're about to get a pep talk and an action plan from a fellow gal in her mid-40s who's no stranger to reinvention and the turmoil that it can sometimes cause. Now, whatever the reason for your reinvention, whether it's a forced reinvention or something you chose on your own, the biggest source of anxiety is going to be the uncertainty around what comes next and if you're going to be successful. So these are just a few things to remember to help you get through that uncertainty. Number one, your biggest growth is ahead of you. It doesn't matter how old you are, there's absolutely no reason why that can't be true. And it really is essential to believe that as you start making changes. Think about your life up until this point. There's a good chance you spent a lot of it focusing on other people's needs, whether that's kids, family, partners, or even a demanding boss. Whatever. But now you've got this golden opportunity to make this next chapter about you and you alone. What would happen if you gave yourself permission to finally pursue your deepest desires with pure abandon? Now, maybe you haven't spent a lifetime taking care of other people. Maybe you're just a late bloomer, or like me, a bit of a reformed underachiever, and you feel like you haven't really done too much of anything with your life up until this point. That's even more of a reason to believe that your best years are ahead of you. I basically partied my way through my early 20s. I was totally directionless, was in an awful relationship, had a string of crap jobs, got fired from several of them, and kind of just wound up in a career that I knew I really didn't want to do forever, but I just didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. Finally, I decided I wanted to go to art school, spent 4 years getting a degree in design, and then 6 years into my new career as an art director, pushing 40 and still in $45,000 worth of student debt, I realized I didn't want to continue working in advertising. And at that point, I feel like I didn't really have any true calling and no other skills that would get me into a well-paying career, and I just really didn't know what I was gonna do. That's when I decided to start a random side hustle self-publishing books, and that's what eventually led me down this road of being an online educator and a YouTube host. Something I never in 10,000 years would have seen myself doing even just 1 year before I started this channel. This is why I absolutely believe that my biggest growth is still ahead of me, and that belief gets me so excited about what's to come, even if I have no idea what that is just yet. Remember, you still have half a life left to do something that excites and fulfills you. And the point is, you never know what amazing opportunities lie ahead of you. The next thing to remember is something that I heard Mel Robbins say, and that's that you're never starting over, you're always starting from experience. If you're in your 40s, this isn't your first rodeo. You've probably been through some really hard stuff before, and you've come out on the other side with the knowledge that only experience can bring. And that knowledge is going to be tremendously advantageous in getting you where you need to go. Next is that it's okay to change course. The goals that you had at 20 are not the same goals that you have at 40 or beyond. You should be thinking about changing course to something that better suits your current needs and desires. You don't need to have a fully fleshed out plan before you take that first step either. Like Martin Luther King Jr. said, you don't have to see the whole staircase, just take the first step. Okay, the pep talk is over. Let's get into your action plan. Now, by the way, if part of your reinvention is starting a new online business, then please download my free guide, The 4-Step Online Business Startup Blueprint, from down in the description below. It is a comprehensive guide that's going to take you through all the steps necessary to get your online business off the ground. Okay, let's get to your action plan. So this action plan is basically what I do at the end of each year when I'm goal setting for the following year. And I think it's a perfect exercise to go through during a reinvention phase as well. So grab your journal or a piece of paper and a pen and we'll get started. First, we're going to start with a little reflection. Now, it can be really helpful to do a little review of your life so far. So what's worked for you, what hasn't worked for you. Think of a few wins that you've had, but also think about the things that didn't go the way that you would have wanted them to. Try to think about what you could have done differently if you had the chance to go back. What's held you back in the past? What excites you? What drains you? What major lessons have you learned along the way? For me, when I look back, I realized that I spent way too long caring about what other people think, and it really stopped me from doing some of the things that I wanted to do, like joining drama club in high school or just speaking up when I had something to say and no one else was saying it. Once you've done that, it's time to define your dreams. So what would a breakthrough year look like for you? Ask yourself, what would I do if I couldn't fail? Now is not the time to censor yourself or pass judgment. You want to consider all of your big ideas and possibilities and dreams. Which of those ideas excites you the most? What would give you the most satisfaction? Think about your life across multiple domains as well. So relationships, financial, vocational, health, spiritual. And here's a little bit of a hint. Your biggest potential often lies in the ideas that leave you feeling excited and a little bit terrified. Asking myself some of these questions is originally what got me thinking about starting my own business and where that might lead. Like I said earlier, I never in a million years would have thought that I would start a YouTube channel, but once I defined my dreams for my personal life, I knew I needed to take some bigger action steps in order to make them happen. Next is to make a plan. So creating a plan is going to give you something to work toward, as well as give you a sense of direction and control. You don't need to know every detail of your plan, just that first set of action steps. So maybe that's doing some research, talking to someone who has information about what you're interested in doing. Maybe it's starting a class to learn a new skill. And then once you have that plan, work incrementally toward achieving whatever dream that plan is in support of. And you don't need to make massive sweeping changes overnight. Incremental progress compounds with time, just like money in a bank account. Finally, get support. It can feel really lonely during a big transition, so support really is crucial. Try to find some other people that are going through some sort of transition as well, so that you can help and encourage one another. I've always got one or two friends on speed dial who I know I can count on for some support no matter what. And when it comes to my business, I've got a circle of fellow entrepreneurs who've 9 times out of 10 been through exactly what I'm going through and can offer help and encouragement as well. All right, I hope this video helps pump you up a little bit during what can be a scary, uncertain time. I really do believe that your best years are truly ahead of you, and I know that you've got this. I would love to hear about what your first action steps during this reinvention of yours are going to be, so please go ahead and leave them in the comment section down below. You can watch this video next if you want to find out what the best online business to start this year is for you. And if you like this video, please hit that like button, share with anyone else you think might find it useful, and subscribe. I'll see you next week.